Some people who know me, I think they seem to underestimate me, like, so much. And it's not really anyone's fault, because they usually only saw me. I mean, they saw me from one side of me. I mean, they saw other sides of me, but what they saw the most was a pussyfoot little kid who was pussyfooted around. But my relatives still think I'm that same kid. They don't realize I've grown up. To be honest, though, a part of me not being that same kid is coming to terms with accepting that kid I once was. I mean, I may have become this suburban cliche, the addict, the dropout, the this, the that, but the basement dweller. But I was a pretty cool kid now that I think of it. I was. I always felt different because I sort of wasn't into what most of the other kids were doing. And I think that's a big reason why so many kids become outcasts because the other kids don't understand them. Even their parents, they think you're weird or something, you know. Well, their sons were weird too. I mean, yeah, I was obnoxious looking back. I became this bad influence, and nobody's parents would let their kids hang around me. But I think you know, my actions, or whatever I did that was obnoxious, they took it too far, or it was just the obvious scapegoat. He doesn't just look different; he acts different too. You can't hang around with him. Just stay away from him. But I had my own stuff going on anyways, so being a teenager, is like turning into this weird monstrous zombie thing, so no matter, if you're different or not, everybody's gonna, be scared of you if you're a teenager, everybody's gonna be frightened by you. Like puberty was not easy on me. So, I could never really figure my shit out and overcome it all. Teenage years are the worst. Like that MCR song, teenagers scared the living shit out of me. But yeah, I think people underestimated my potential, some people. But some people are just late bloomers. Like John Lennon said, life begins at 40. But yeah, what I've learned is that we're all ignorant. Because if you don't have it, then you don't get it. That's why I say, or if you don't do it, you don't get it. Like, we all have our opinions, but there's two sides to everything. Like hunting, for example. I don't like hunting, but I can't just assume, like, things that I haven't actually done myself, I guess. But I'm not about to go out and hunt, so that leaves me as sort of ignorant, but I'm fine with that. So we're all ignorant to some extent. I mean, we're not all ignoramuses like some people who judge everything they see. But yeah, I think people saw one angle of me and assumed who I was or who I wasn't or what I've become just because I stopped. For instance, I stopped going to holidays with the families, and my relatives. I mean, all I can say, all I can tell them is that I apologize for being rude, but it had nothing to do with anybody why I isolated so much and became like the self-destructive person. That was my bad, you know. So I never meant to hurt anybody by not going to like the holidays and stuff like that. And I'm still trying. I'm still trying really hard to get a life. I mean, I felt like I could not function for so long. But I feel like an inkling of hope and I'm holding on to it for dear life. I wish I could just automatically prove everyone wrong, but I can't. It takes work, and that's the problem. I'm an all or nothing kind of guy, and that's not a good thing. It's either all or nothing with me. But if I could go back, I would not be so stupid and absorb everything that people said about me. You know, that I was this or that I was that. I could never fit in. It was like from the start, society had this place for me, for all the special people like me. I wasn't in any clique in school. I just became the joke because that's all it seemed I could be with people, with the other kids. I was always too short or too whatever to have people consider me as normal, and that's fucked up. That's what's fucked up. And I hate when people say, "What is normal anyways?" Because I know exactly what normal is. And if you're not normal, then, you're screwed. If people really believe what is normal, then they should just let kids be kids. Public schools they suck because adults don't run it, the kids do. The kids run the school, and the kids aren't smart enough yet to run anything, you know? That's why, all these kids are getting abused um, from other kids. And so it's like you're on your own when you're a kid. I mean, when you become an adult and you have to deal with adult issues, I mean, hell yeah, it's really difficult. But I think people forget too easily what it was like being a kid. You really have to fight for yourself. I didn't do that myself. You have you have to do what isn't comfortable. You have to confront the bully at school, even though it may seem easier to get your ass kicked. You have to do the best you can do on your own because some adults just aren't any good. The good thing about today is that if you're a kid and you feel so alone, like you feel like a freak or you don't really have many or any friends, well, I mean, you're not a freak, first of all. You need to know that. You're normal. Okay, it's just people are stupid. But you can go online and find people, other people who are just like you, and you could realize that for yourself that you are normal. That's the cool thing. That's the positive thing about social media. Instead of tweeting nonsense to people or watching stupid Lady Gaga parodies or whatever people do on. And I never had the escape I needed growing up. You gotta find that passion. For me, it was music, but you see, I'm deaf in my right ear. So around 12 years old, I became obsessed with protecting my left ear to the point where I couldn't be around any noise. I didn't even leave my house. It became this huge obsession. And that's when I gave up on my dreams of music, which really sucked. I can't be in a band because of my hearing. Well, that was then. Now I'm making the music thing work, but things really things really do get better, and I won't kid anyone. The shit doesn't always end after your teens, after your teenage years. I mean, it's different for everybody. Sometimes it takes longer, but the best thing you can do for yourself so the shit can stop you know, sooner than later, is fight for your life. Use your voice. That's the thing about today. Kids don't realize that they have voices because they're taught to listen to what adults say and do whatever the adults do, but you don't have a voice, but that's not true, especially in this generation. Everyone should know that they have a voice. And they don't just have to use it online or on social media. And sometimes people need help, and that's okay. And one great thing for me is that I had two incredible parents who to this day have never given up on me, even if it sometimes feels like they have. I mean, any other parent would have kicked me out, I know that, you know. or maybe not, make because of, of the way I was born, but, seriously, my mom is like the nicest person, the kindest person I've ever met. I'm not just saying that. So, yeah, so try to be grateful for what you do have. Maybe you got a younger brother who looks up to you, or you got an older brother who you look up to. You have that. The world is changing right now, so don't waste your time isolating. Be a part of the world. Don't let people make you feel different, because what I've learned is that it's either life or death. There's no in between. Isolation and misery is the equivalent to being dead. So don't waste another second, because one day you'll find your reason for being alive, that big fat reason for being alive.